Om Shri Sai Ram. Chapter 14. Ma had made a vow and wanted to be in Shirdi at the time of its fulfillment. Swami gave his permission. On the 29th of July 2012, she flew to Pune and then travelled by road to Shirdi. As soon as she reached Shirdi, she joined the long queues in the mandir for darshan. She was carrying a rose for Baba. By the time she reached the Samadhi, there was but a single petal left on the stalk. This she offered to Baba at the Samadhi. After darshan, she checked into a hotel which was very close to the mandir. She had seen the room before checking in to make sure that it was clean and that it had 2 sofas. Ma had carried fresh sheets and cushions with her from Lucknow to cover the sofas in the room for Shirdi Baba and Swami. She got the room cleaned properly and lovingly prepared both the sofas. It was around midnight when she sat down for Namasmaranam. A few minutes later, Swami came and asked her to take Padnamaskar. He placed his hand on her head and blessed her. Then he left. As soon as Swami left, Shirdi Baba came. He asked Ma, "I'm here with you, Ma. Why do you want to go to the mandir?" Ma said, "Baba, I love to go there." After 5 minutes, Shirdi Baba stood up. He said, "Aao, Ma. Come, Ma." He held her hand and barefoot took Ma with him. She says that it was very dark and she did not see anyone on the road. They walked for at least 20 minutes, crossing the road several times and left behind many houses on the way. After some time, they reached a place where she could see some very old huts made of mud. It was to one of these huts that Baba took Ma. When she entered the hut, she saw that on the ground, which was made of mud, there was an earthen lamp that was burning very brightly. Baba asked her to sit down. She sat on the ground. Baba materialized an earthen vessel filled with water. He asked Ma to put her feet forward and touch them with reverence. Then, with the water from this vessel, he washed her feet. He was pouring the water with one hand, taking the water that was flowing out in his other hand and drinking it. He asked in Hindi, "Ma, are you hungry?" Ma said, "No, Baba." He said, "No, eat." All of a sudden, she saw that before her there was a very old copper-like plate and an earthen jar. There were 2 puris, a brinjal and potato preparation, and 1 whole raw onion on the plate. Baba said, "Eat." Ma took the puri with the vegetable, gave the first bite to Baba and began to eat. While Ma was eating the puri, she saw that there was some portion on the edges which was very hard. She was finding it difficult to chew that, so she broke off that part with her hand, bit by bit, and put it on the side of the plate. She saw that Baba playfully picked up these hard pieces one at a time and began to eat. As she was taking the puri to her mouth, she stopped. She closed her eyes as they filled up with tears. Then Baba asked, "Ma, will you have some sweet?" Swami had asked Ma to abstain from sugar. For several months now, she had not taken anything that had sugar in it. She said, "No, Baba, I cannot take sweet." Baba said, "No, eat." She was very confused but thought that she must obey her Lord and not argue. Baba created an earthen bowl with some rice pudding in it and gave it to Ma. She put the bowl to her mouth to eat the pudding. As she tasted it, she stopped. It was not sweet, but salted. She looked at Baba. He was smiling. She did not like the taste of the pudding, but it was Baba's prasadam, so she ate all of it. She smiled to herself, thinking, "Oh, what a wonderful way to test his devotee." Baba said, "Ma, today the vow that you had made is coming to fulfillment. Come with me to the Shiv Mandir." Baba took Ma with him to a mandir where she saw a very big idol of Lord Shiva. There was a big Shivling before this idol. A bucket of water was lying close to Ma. Took water from the bucket and performed the Abhishekam. Then Baba said, "Ma, let us go to the Samadhi Mandir." Ma says that she was feeling completely dazed. Baba held her hand and took her with him. She saw that they had reached the Guru's Sthan in the Samadhi Mandir. A big yagna was being performed there at that time. She came to know later that it was to commemorate 100 years of the installation of the Padukas in the Guru's Sthan. Baba said, "Ma, sit here and do your Namasmaranam." Ma said, "Baba, I have to do Abhishekam." He said, "Yes, Ma, come." In the Samadhi Mandir, located across the Guru's Sthan, there are 3 small temples in a row. Ma was now standing with Baba before the Shiva temple. The previous evening she had bought 3 packets of milk as she wanted to do the Abhishekam with milk on the last day. They were lying in her room at the hotel. Ma was wondering how she would get the milk that she required for the Abhishekam. Just as the thought crossed her mind, she saw that the 3 packets of milk were in her hand. She performed the Abhishekam and said her prayers. Then Baba took Ma to the Guru's Sthan. He told her to sit there and complete her Namasmaranam. She sat down and closed her eyes. When the Namasmaranam was over, Ma opened her eyes and looked around. But Baba was not there. She got up slowly with the intention of going to the mandir for Samadhi Darshan. The doors were still shut. The guard told Ma that she had come very early. She told him that she would wait there. There were 4 people in the queue before Ma. After some time, the doors opened. It was a Thursday morning. Suddenly, there was a lot of noise and many devotees rushed in. Ma quickly ran and sat in the front row. At that moment, she thought of her son and felt like sharing her beautiful experience with him. Just as this thought came to Ma, she suddenly saw her mobile phone, which she had left in her hotel room, appear in her hand. The priest was sitting before her and the guards were also doing their rounds. She felt afraid. She knew that mobile phones were not allowed inside the mandir. She thought that if they saw it in her hand, they might send her out. Ma hid the phone in the folds of her clothes. As the aarti was about to begin, Ma soaked in the devotion of all the devotees who were there. She noted that they had put a mosquito net for Baba's idol. She felt deeply touched and experienced deep ananda. The aarti began. Keeping the phone out of sight, Ma dialed her son's number. Both her son and his wife enjoyed the complete Kakad Aarti from Shirdi. After the morning aarti got over, Ma walked out slowly, feeling lost and tired. In a daze, she wandered to Dwarka Mai for darshan. In Dwarka Mai, generally, devotees are not allowed to go near the area where the dhuni is burning. Ma requested the priest to permit her to go, which he did. She touched the grill around the fire. It was extremely hot. She moved ahead to Chavdi and then to the grave of Abdullah. Ma left the mandir, lost in the thought of all that had taken place the previous night. As she reached the hotel and was slowly walking up the steps to her room, number 108, on the first floor, the man at the reception called out to her, "Madam, please take your keys." Ma realized then that she had left the room with Baba without locking it or taking the keys. She went down the steps, took the keys from him. Entering her room, she made preparations to leave Shirdi for Pune. Om Sai Ram.